sir, namaskaram, and very good morning to all. Respected chief guest of the program, Vijaya Kumar, the chairman of NCISM New Delhi, whom we heard just a few minutes back, and the guest of honor, Dr. Prasad, the President, Board of Ayurveda, NCISM New Delhi, Professor Acharya, the Director General of CCRAS New Delhi, Dr. Mohammad Iqbal, our good friend and District Ayush Officer of Dakshin Kannada, Karnataka, my colleague officers, Dr. Gangadhar Swamiaji, Dr. Guru Raja, and probably more importantly, the organizing chairpersons and the organizing team, Dr. Zenika D'Souza, Dr. Subhadra, Dr. Sridhar Gokhale, and my dear staff, colleagues, friends, more importantly, the delegates for today's conference and my dear students. I think I am the first non-Ayurveda person addressing to you. I don't know how many of you know what is cancer. I spent from 1984 till today almost completing 40 this year in cancer. Started my career in Kidwai Cancer Institute and I continue to learn here. After almost 40 years now, one thing I know is I don't know cancer. I don't know cancer is what I understood in the last 40 years because every patient suffering from cancer behaves differently. So we don't know. We are trying to group them in the name of stages and treat, but it's not happening in every patient the same way, though the treatment will be the same. Having said that, you will be wondering why I am saying that, because we should know first our limitations. When we know our limitations, when we look for something more. When we think we are the best, naturally there is no room for improvement. Same way, when we think there are no limitations at all for the field or the stream in which we are here, working for or following or practicing or preaching or educating, we will have problems. That is why it's better to have an open mind and move forward. Yenepoya University, for your kind information, is one such place where we have got all specialties of streams of health, and though we are calling ourselves Health University, with only one stream which is outside the Health University, the Arts, Science and Commerce, all others belong to the health stream only. It may be allopathic medicine or Ayurveda, naturopathy, yoga, homeopathy, pharmacy, nursing, physiotherapy, and allied health professionals. That gives us an opportunity and a platform to easily get integrated. What is ideal, I really don't know, as addressed by Dr. Prasad. I don't know. But I know there is an opportunity, and somebody said it wrong long back. There's an English adage. Weak men wait for opportunities, strong men create them. But I always tell my students, wise men use them. We should be at least wise enough to use the opportunity which we have been thrown in front of us, that we have other streams. So how to use them is what I always feel to make ourselves work better. When I say this, I am not talking because I have been called to preside over today's function. My interest in the other fields of streams came first, if I look back. I don't know how many of you know also this drug called Gudichi. Gudichi was a drug which they tried when I was back in a university in Kidwai, Memorial Institute of Oncology, Bangalore, which is, for your information, the third largest cancer center in India, which I had the opportunity to lead for 5 years and work there for 31 years. So in that place, Gudichi was used first for the advanced breast cancers, and I was part of the team with the Ayurveda physician Dr. Kumar. That's where the I was initiated with there is something happening in other streams as well. It became much more stronger when we come to know, we read more about the chemotherapy drugs, for example. Most of the people who have been talking to you earlier are very seriously talking. I am a simple surgeon and a good teacher who doesn't want to talk serious issues in a serious way. So I'll give you a story. What happened? Long back, when Britishers were here ruling. One British doctor captain used to go for horse riding in the Himalayan foothills. He used to go there and suddenly he saw somebody whom he could not even talk because the language barrier, but he saw an oral cancer patient being treated with some pulp of a bark with curds, and he was applying inside. He became curious, being a doctor captain. So he regularly went to see what happened. To his surprise, that oral cancer was cured. That really surprised him because he is coming from allopathic medicine and yesteryears that knew from coming from Britain. When he went back to UK, he took loads and loads of that bark from the tree called Himalayan yew tree, Y-E-W, Himalayan yew tree. He took it back. He was not sure what is that, how it worked, etc. So he went and gave it to his friends, and they worked on it for almost 30-40 years and came out the medicine now today the most fast moving chemotherapy drug used from head to foot in our field of medicine called paclitaxel. You must go back and read this story. Paclitaxel is the drug which is used by us now day in and out for the last 30-40 years. It was introduced in 1990 by Bristol and Mayer, the company which has made amazed wealth, and it all started from a bark of Himalayan yew tree. They started getting the ingredient that to get it. They took time, but once they got it, now it is being used extensively all over the world for breast cancer, ovarian cancer, stomach, head and neck. You name it today, paclitaxel is used everywhere. So it all started keeping your eyes open and also becoming curious and inquisitive to know what's happening on the other side. That's what happened. And this is history. I am not telling a story which has not happened, but I am telling what is history now. And now we are all prescribing these drugs in allopathic medicine. The difference here is, there he was using it as a bark, here we are using the ingredient what was there, got it out, and then the chemical is now being produced, manufactured, and being given as an IV injection. So this sort of drugs which are coming from a bark of a medicine from Himalayan yew tree now running the whole world, you will be surprised. And earlier to that, of course, there are few drugs which we will always say that, but they are not so very commonly used nowadays. Vincristine and vinblastine, they are all from Inca alkaloids, again from the plant. But paclitaxel is a totally different story. It is ruling the roost today in allopathic medicine and cancer as on stands today. So these things will make everybody to know anything can happen. Keep your eyes open and see what can be done for a patient. This is about the history of paclitaxel. Coming back, my interest again, the third step. One oral cancer patient coming to me in Kidwai saying that he had oral cancer for about 7 years, knowingly he was diagnosed but not getting any allopathic treatment, and he was using some drug which I didn't understand at that time. But he said, I am using it for last 7 years and it's keeping me under control. What we today call it as oncostatic. There are two ways of describing any drug: cancericidal, which will kill the cells, and cancerostatic, which will keep it under control. But 7 years surprised me, and I started digging what is the drug, etc. What surprised me more was he forgot to bring the drug from Shimoga down, or Hassan he was, came to Bangalore when I was practicing. When we were working up, after 1 month, when he came back to me, to my surprise, I said, I cannot operate anything more. It has grown beyond that level within 1 month. Again, proving a point that it was definitely cancerostatic, and then what that gentleman was telling was that when I came back here, that drug I came to know as Kanchana or Guglu, and I said, no, you will have to work on it. As I said, the wise people will use the opportunity. Here was the opportunity for advanced labs available. There is a separate center called Yenepoya Advanced Research Center. I don't know how many of you have seen also. And there I went and spoke to them, and they said one more person was working with me in Kidwai. When I was in Vijaya, he was working here, and so he was really, we have worked together in stomach and esophagus when we were together. So he said, yes, I am interested and do. What did we do? We took the drug and worked on it, how it works. Many times when I asked this question to Ayurveda physician, to my surprise, they won't know how the drug works. They only know the action of the drug. So that is not sufficient to my knowledge or my way of sciences. So I said, how does it work? So we went and tried, studied, and we proved that in Yenepoya Research Center, first time that Kanchana or Guglu, which is usually used for other reasons, not for cancer, was working through what is called as mTOR pathway. mTOR is one of the pathways which may be too high for you at molecular level. But we know mTOR pathway is one of the pathways where our drugs, regular drugs use, and also anti-diabetic drug works through the mTOR pathway. So the moment we know the mTOR pathway is the common pathway for cancer as well as anti-diabetic, then we thought why not use the other anti-diabetic drug which is being used by the Ayurvedic physician, is called Madhunashini. So there are two drugs which we worked on it. One is Kanchana or Guglu, another is Madhunashini. So now we know the root pathway, but the action we don't know whether it work or not. It's only an hypothesis by us and occasional stray cases. That is not the way we can do it. Science, no forum will accept. So we worked on the basic cell line. When we use the cell line and use these drugs separately, Kanchana or Guglu and Madhunashini, the effect was not that very great. In fact, it was around 30% response, which didn't touch me at least. So we were wondering what to do. After all, it's on the cell line, we decided to combine both and do it. Because most of the chemotherapy drugs are given in a combination, not in single agents. So that was our theory. We did not know whether it would work. We put it. To our surprise, we saw when both were used, 100% response was there. That got us really excited. And what was the next story? Then I could convince the ethical committee of Yenepoya that we are now doing a clinical trial on oral cancer using these two drugs. Otherwise, it would have taken for us to go through different route, that is animal studies, etc. But I could convince them it is already a prescribed drug for diabetes, so we are only reappropriating the drug. So they gave us permission, and now we are working on advanced oral cancer in Yenepoya using Kanchana or Guglu and Madhunashini together. So this is how we are treading towards, and as I said, we use our opportunity to move together, and of course I have the opportunity to, in the form of a post also, we can dictate. Otherwise, as somebody said, the ego system is more than ecosystem. So the ecosystem works or not, I don't know, but the ecosystem works. A will not talk to B, B will not talk to C. So I had the opportunity to dictate all the systems and said, you have to talk to each other. That is the first thing I did. Between the basic scientists and allopathic medicine doctor also. What the doctors are asking questions, you will have to answer from the lab, not the other way around. So that is where we started working. Today, which I will be probably touching upon in my keynote address later, we are working on 16 projects with Ayurveda and allopathic together, out of which 5 projects are research projects around cancer alone. So this is what our contribution and our thinking and our ideation to move forward. And rest of the things what we are doing, I will be able to talk to you when I give the keynote address, and I don't want to continue talking more because most of the professors have the bad habit of talking more, listening less. So I don't want to make you feel that I am also such an old professor. Thank you very much for being here, and I thank all of you. All the best. God bless.